Hello, everybody from around the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is Samson Li coming to you from Los Angeles, California. Welcome, everybody, to today's Empowerment Zoom. Very excited to be with you today. So, today we're going to talk about something very simple and yet sometimes overlooked. I'm going to talk about connecting with other people. As we go out, share the products, the opportunity. What we want to do is we want to be able to talk to people in an intelligible way and also maybe make a connection for sure. So actually, it's the connection first you need to do. I know some of you out there like, I'm so excited. I cannot stop to tell them what I have first about the products, about the opportunity. I'm so excited. Well, okay, so let's back up a few steps. So we're gonna make it fun today, and yeah, maybe look, maybe some of you have heard I'm gonna talk about today, maybe, but it'll be a different way, I guess. Every great leader talks differently, and maybe through the repetition from different ways to talk about what we do, each of you can really upgrade your skills or thinking to a mindset to be able to be effective in what you do on a daily basis out there. So, what about connections? Well, I figure, I made a little bit PowerPoint to help all of you who are visual to talk about what we're talk about today, how to connect with other people. All right. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to share the PowerPoint and we're going to get it going there. So, some of you know my background. If you don't, just so you know, I've been an entrepreneur for 36, 37 years. It's been a while. I started real estate, was in the retail business, had a number of stores. I was a professional auctioneer, and then the last 20 years been in this cross-border e-commerce industry. Tremendous. This whole industry has changed my life. The outlook, how things could be, what a possibility, the possibility of our own potential. I saw it. I saw it myself. I saw it in other people, especially, and you can do it too. Okay, so let's talk about what we do and how to share. Okay, so what we do is very simple. Actually, the first step, what we need to do is connect and invite people. When we meet people, we want to share, and this is a sharing economy nowadays, and people like to hear from people who they trust to share with them. The whole buying habit has changed literally around the world because of the internet. I mean, nowadays, let's imagine, right? You go online, you want to buy something, you have a need, you want to go look for something, you search, and then you find an item. Browse through the pictures, the descriptions, how big it is, how does it fit, whatever item it is, and then you go look at the reviews, and in a way, that's how we engage and connect on the internet. So the thing is, well, what we do is a little bit different because it's person to person. We can connect and invite on a human level, and that's actually a very, very important skill we cannot lose as a human species, right? But the show and tell part, well, once we connect, invite somebody, we find somebody who's interested, maybe a customer or maybe a potential business partner, want to show and tell them what the business is. So no problem with that. And of course, definitely we need to follow up and see where they are. And we want to enroll them into the products, into the brand, and see what they want and get something out of it, right? And then the last is, of course, plug into the system where, as we plug in the system is a place or online or maybe kind of in the cloud nowadays. That's what some people would say that, or maybe even physical events or offices that we can come together and learn. So this is that's the system, and the system also have a lot of participants, such as other leaders, people who are successful, people who are not successful. But we all want to learn from the best of the best. Yeah. So pretty much all we do in the business are these four little squares. Is that simple? That's the whole business. So let's talk about connect invite today because that's what my subject is about today. And it's good because sometimes there's a bit to learn over the years looking back. So nothing wrong with that. It's just that the more we learn, the more we do, the faster we learn, the more money we make. That's all. So if you're first time on the Zoom learning, no problem. I think sometimes, when we talk about connecting with other people, it's very funny, we forget how to connect when we're too excited, right? About what we have in our hand. We want to tell other people about it. So simply though, at the beginning, what you want to do is you want to go about things with intention. Okay. So we want to connect with somebody. You want to have the intention to meet them where they are. That's very important. And what does that mean? For me, what it means is, you know what? Be sincere, find out about the other person. How are they doing? What have they been doing? How have they been doing? Where have they been? What's happening? Why are they doing what they do? Why do they have what they have? Why are they where they are? So, yeah, it seems to be a lot of questions, right? But you want to find out about them and relate to them on their level. Okay. Like, for example, look, if there are people who never make much money and talk about making a lot of money, it would be so foreign to them, and it won't be believable. You're not meeting them where they are. Find out what they want first. So I wrote down three different ways to keep it simple, and I'm going to go over all these. And the first one is my suggestion is ask open-ended questions and relate to their answers. So for me, over the years, I like to dabble in a lot of little pieces of knowledge and curiosity, learn about a little bit, a lot about a lot of things. So one thing I've learned is that, our brain responds different way to different people, different situations. Okay. So one of the things is that our mammalian brain, our very primitive brain, is there to protect us. It's about instincts, right? So a lot of times is you think about, if you ask somebody something that maybe you want something from them, they're automatically going to say no, right? And nowadays, nobody wants to be sold to. So, and there's another saying also that, look, people don't care what you have to say until they know you really care, right? And to be honest, it took me quite a few years to shift that mindset. I was in traditional business for so long that everything was just a transaction, right? Like I used to have retail stores selling furniture. So our stores would sell a piece of furniture. I get money, I deliver the furniture, and maybe little by little build a relationship. But it's very transactional. Or maybe, some of you do insurance or real estate. It's very transactional, right? Um, so, but the thing is, people don't want to be treated as a transaction. They want to be treated as people. So meet them where they are, right? So what we can do is to sincerely connect to them, is to ask open-ended questions so that the answer is not an automatic no. Okay. But it doesn't even have to be that type of question. It could be like, for example, if you're talking to if you have kids, you ask your kids, how's school today? What are they gonna say? They're gonna say, it's fine. It's an automatic response. And guess what? The conversation pretty much ends there, right? From their perspective, right? So, but if you ask them a more open-ended question, is, wow, did you have a great day? Did you enjoy? What did the teacher teach you today? When you leave it open-ended like that, they have to explain. They have to use a different part of the brain called the frontal cortex in the front, the thinking brain, the conscious part of your brain that makes them think. And then automatically they're not in the primitive brain where it's just no, 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 right? You understand? So to get through to people, look, be sincere, ask him some interesting questions. If I go to, for example, Starbucks, I might comment on maybe they have a name on their apron. It's like, wow, hey, April, nice name. Do they put that on every apron? Right? Every Starbucks employee, do they give a name tag to every Starbucks employee? Something that kind of stirs the pot, right? So they have to think to answer you, right? And you can ask them related questions a couple of times, like, wow, so how long have you been working here? You must love working here, isn't it? I mean, how is it going for you? I heard Starbucks, they have a union. I'm going to talk about something, right? Make them think and answer you. And then relate to their answers. The second part is, so you got to show some care, right? Wow, you have such a great smile, such a great attitude. I hope they're paying you enough. I'm sure they are paying you enough, right? So you want to relate to their answer, right? And you can go back and forth a few times. Maybe they say, "Oh yeah, you know what? I just started here at this store. I used to work at another store." I say, "Wow." So you can ask them another question like, "So what's the difference between this store and that store?" Okay. Now, I'm just giving you examples how to carry on the conversation with asking open-ended question. Many years ago, I realized that was a thing. And I realized actually I didn't know how to ask questions enough. So what I did was literally on a piece of paper, I wrote down who, what, when, where, how, and why. Those words in the English language ask questions. So I would use those words to practice on, to imagine that, or maybe today you can do it with AI. I don't know, or maybe with a good friend or your business partner, you can practice asking each other open-ended question and then relate to their answer. And the second part, relate to their answer. You need to do that. You need to let them connect with you. Does that make sense? So if they're open to sharing a little bit with you, you need to be open to sharing a little bit of yourself too. Connection is both ways, right? It goes both ways. So it's very important. So once you establish a connection, you will have a rapport with them and they will remember you. Okay. Or they know that you care enough. All right. Now, do that sincerely. Okay. People can detect, many people have that fakeness detector, right? But look, is are the products for everybody? Probably not. Is the business for everybody? Probably not. We just need to sort through people and connect with people and find out where they are, meet them where they are, and see if they need something. So, second way I recommend is to compliment, to show you are open to connect like I did earlier, saying, wow, just compliment somebody. What's wrong with that, right? I mean, look, how many people walk into an office that they go on 9 to 5, maybe drive 1 hour each way to work every day, and when they walk in, people would clap for them? No, not many people would, no, not many company, not many work environment would cheer you on. So wouldn't it be nice to brighten somebody's day by complimenting them? And that is it's a lot of fun. Okay? Because most people don't expect to be complimented, right? And here's a tip. When you compliment somebody, make sure you look them in the eye. At least in the Western culture, right? You can look somebody in the eye, right? And be sincere about it. And maybe even your body language. Just love on somebody. You know what? As long as you ask their permission or in a way just have a lot of fun with them, you start to connect with them and they with you. And often people don't connect to what you say, they connect to your energy, your state of being. And that's important. Who you are also attracts people like yourself. So nobody want to get by anything or join anybody who's miserable, right? So in a way, you kind of have to remind yourself if you're going to spend the time doing the business. Anything out there that bothers you, leave it outside. Put it in a box and just go about it. Find the joy in doing that. Find the fun in doing that. Okay. So I love connecting with people that way. That's how I learn, right? So last way I recommend is elicitation. Now, this is very interesting. This is a way to use statements to ask questions. So for example, you can, like I said before, um, if somebody at Starbucks, I just give a very simple example, right? A type of elicitation would be like, "Wow, you're doing such a great job. They must be paying you a lot of money. Are you the manager?" I mean, the first part, making that statement itself, you know, they want to tell you a little bit about themselves. No, I know. Of course, they want to correct your mistake. They're going to say, "No, I haven't." Well, they pay me enough, or they don't pay me enough, or whatever, right? But it shows your care with them, right? So it's like instead of using questions, if you ask too many questions without giving a piece of yourself, sometimes you sound nosy, right? But if you compliment them or ask in a way, use elicitation to use statements to find out about them, you wouldn't sound as nosy at all. Okay, it's fun. I mean, this part, it's like, wow. For example, going back to the Starbucks, right? I love that because I go to Starbucks a lot and ask a lot of questions, right? So, but I can always say, I can always compliment them. Hey, that's a nice hat you have. And many of the baristas wears hats, right? Where did you get that, right? And that would be my question, right? I would never say, how's your day going? Yeah, that's a yes or no question kind of deal. So another statement of elicitation is, wow, you're doing so good. Have you ever you must have gotten the Employee of the Month award. That's a statement, right? As opposed to, you're doing so good. Have they given you the Employee of the Month award? See, that's a question. But you can say, you're doing so good. You must have gotten the Employee of the Month award. So that's the difference. That's what elicitation is. That's the nuance, right? So you turn that question into a statement. And then they will engage you in the conversation to correct you, to let you know a little bit more, and you can go back and forth a little bit. Sometimes, look, when people are not open, this is just a different way to talk about it, right? So in connecting, we can start with by these ways, people won't have their wall up. It'll be less. And if they're the right people and if they're the right vibe, you will get a good connection out of it. I don't know, I don't know how many baristas know my name that way, right? So anyway, I hope this helps you. In what we do, it's very simple. Look, listen carefully for their needs or wants, relate to them with your own story and how you found your solution if they have an issue. Offer them a solution. Are they open? Do they want to change your situation? Do they want more? Are they looking for something more? You deserve to be successful. Look at your attitude. You're amazing. So, I know people just like you. Have you ever thought of doing something more for yourself? See? So I just want to see if they're open to changing, open to doing something else aside from what they're doing, or adding something else, etc. So you can invite that way. Okay, if they're open, invite them to send information or introduce an expert who can help them. You can do a little video call with your sponsor or business leader or business partner. Instead of you explaining everything, if you want to really take the baby steps, just put your sponsor or business leader on the phone for you to talk to them, to invite them, to see how they are, and to introduce them. So it's not just about you. Maybe you can edify, of course, your business partner or sponsor, and let your prospect know that, hey, they can help them, maybe change or have a solution for them. So don't just remember, don't explain yourself. Use tools or expert. Okay. And that's how then you get to the next step, the show and tell, right? So today, I hope that these few minutes have helped you get a good idea of my own Samson Lee's interpretation of how to connect with people. Look, attitude accounts for a lot. Technique accounts for a lot, but everybody's different. So learn to practice. Look, if you need to watch this Zoom over and over again, and get the most out of it. And and of course, converse with your business partner, or your sponsor, or your business leader to learn more, to talk about it, to learn more. And then as you improve day by day by day, with each time you go try, you will get better and better and better. Okay. So thank you very much for your time. God bless all of you. Have a fantastic day. Go out and connect with somebody today. Okay. Take care, folks. Bye bye now.